RevOps, MarTech, digital transformation, MOPS, CRM, buzzword, buzzword, buzzword. Let's talk systems. How to set them up properly so that you can grow, and some red flags and what not to do with our friend Jalil Nawaz, expert and founder of Mountainise.
When you're thinking about the digital transformation, you need to think about the trade-offs. Because if you really want to bring what you had in past, you should not be doing the digital transformation. The reason of this whole digital transformation is that there is an upgrade required, or you have started thinking your process differently. There is no magic wand for anything. It's all about, you really adopt your mind around what you think you want versus what you really want. We have extensive and most powerful technology around us, but if your adoption level is not there, you don't know how to use it, it's wastage of time.
If your dashboards are dusty, you have no idea what is or isn't working from marketing and sales, and your CRM looks like a crime scene, you need to meet Jalil. He's the founder of Mountainise, RevOps, MarTech, BizTech expert, and someone who helps companies connect all their bits and pieces so they can grow smarter and faster. Hello, Jalil.
Hello, nice to be here. And the topic is so much fun. I'm excited about that.
Well, we met on a project together where we had a CRM, we had to connect another CRM, and we're like, help. And you were like, come on, I'll show you. So this is a fun project we've been basically working on, 5 years we've known each other?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So let's dive right into what is BizTech, RevOps, MarTech. What does all that mean?
I keep using analogy always, and that's what I will be doing today as well. So yesterday I got a quick message from a VP of the company. It's actually C level. She's on the C level. She said, "Do you have a quick minute? I need a help." I said, "Okay, let's jump on a call." They are using HubSpot as a stack. So she wanted to do a forecast reporting through the HubSpot. Now the probability which was given by the CEO was a custom probability, like this stage is equal to this and blah blah blah. And the thing which she was trying to do was like, I need to put this probability in the report. And for that, she wrote I think she must have spent hours with the ChatGPT. She found a new custom code. She built a very extensive workflow, and she was just giving me the whole walkthrough. When I was listening, it already took my 15 minutes. I thought if it took 15 minutes for this understanding, she must have spent hours to just build that. And my question was, okay, you are trying to get a report which gives you the 80%, 15%, and 5% probability of your ARR? She said, yes. I said, let's just create 3 custom fields. It's 5-minute task. Put a report together. That's it. And there was at least a 60-second silence. And after that, she agrees to that. And she said, can you just show me what you meant? So the thing about the whole BizTech and the MarTech and the RevOps is that these things are killer the way that we have extensive and most powerful technology around us. But the problem is that you have this stuff, but literally if your adoption level is not there, you don't know how to use it, it's wastage of time. So we are building an analogy that the MarTech or the marketing is like more of a top of the funnel side. You are bringing everything. You want to make sure that you are reaching to every possible ICP where you can find, and then you are making a very powerful card, which is your RevOps, which is doing a handoff from your marketing, taking it with sales, and making a very smooth process with your sales guys who are enjoying, who are having fun. They're looking at their growing commission numbers and also all of that thing, and they're doing the quoting and all of that very easily. At the end, all the C levels and every manager is able to pull the report accurately. That's where the RevOps comes in. And the BizTech is that, are you looking at all of that in the picture that it's coupling with each other rather than two different directions? That's our little bit boring analogy.
I had fun. I was thinking of all the different moving pieces. I've seen this, I'm sure you've seen this, companies making some mistakes with their tech stack, the tech they're using across departments. What are some whoopsies you've seen that you hope companies could avoid?
Oh my God, the topic you just opened, it's massive. I see it every day. Just before joining this call, I was in another call, and the client is like, they lost a $500,000 revenue just by switching from it's an e-commerce company, and they wanted to switch from Oracle Responses, which is a marketing automation system, to HubSpot, which is a very powerful system. But they lost it because really did not have a true definition of their ground. It's okay that maybe that previous platform was implemented in 2002. Now it's already 23 years, so no one really knew what is happening. But someone from the team needed to have a blueprint by their own thinking. So whenever the companies are doing something like this, a big migration, a transformation, they would think that someone is coming outside as a consultant or an agency or partner who has a magic wand, and they would make it work. So the people like us, we have extensive experience, but what we don't have is the true business knowledge of that whole process. So that first blueprint is not the part of SOW. That's a confusion which keeps happening with a lot of guys, that it's SOW. No, it's beyond that. You need to do that mind mapping. You need to get your hands dirty, and then eventually you bring it together. So once it's there, then you go to the next step. So the companies are making mistake on this part. Then one of the guy in technology, so he is again the C level, is the CMO. He said my CEO wants, they were using Zoho as suite. It's a great tool, but they said we are experiencing that we have partners on behalf of them. We send out email. When someone click on our email, they goes to a landing page and they download a PDF. So if we send out an email to 5,000 guys, we need to report it back to our partner. They are seeing at least 10% open rate. So we need to show them that 10%. And when they call those guys, they say we never open your email. So you need to help us to fix that in the reporting. My simple response was that it's this platform is not capable to do what you are trying to do, so you need to take the different approach. But we need, the client always wants to have fun. There is a money which they don't care about initially to spend on, so we spend a huge amount of time, and eventually the solution failed. So that's a very common issue. People don't listen. People don't understand that what happens if they really evaluate and implement the right solution. They would take a technology, expensive or cheaper, doesn't matter, but they like it. That's it. That's our experience.
So there's like two sides of the same coin there, like either not having the business case, like what do you actually need to solve? And what does it need to look like? What does each field mean? What do you call things? So not having the human side ironed out, that blueprint, and then not either not picking the right tool, picking too many tools, or not trusting the people who are deep experts in the tools when they say, this isn't the right fit. Like, it's cool that your friend uses this for their company, but for your company and for what you're trying to solve for this blueprint, we recommend these tools. So I don't know. Would you say use fewer tools and customize them to fit your needs, or use the expert tools that fit the need?
There is a something I learned it during a couple of years back. I wanted to do some HR training enhancement, so we did a TNA thing, training and need enhance assessment. Sorry. So I think that if you take out the T part, we still have the need assessment. So that need assessment needs to be there. And honestly, the gap which I see is that that need assessment needs to happen between the operational team, like the managers who are running the show on the ground, and the people who are steering the whole strategic thing. It should not always come from the, at least the C level. Like CEO should not be thinking about that technology stack unless the CEO is like someone who only lives in that, or his role is not the CEO but more of the some other part of the organization. So that the need assessment, the true need assessment is not happening. I mean, we did few projects. What kind of stuff happens. This, and you have worked on other project as well. So then buying tools, stack of tools, like let's do this, let's do this, let's integrate this, is going to create a chaos for you eventually. Either you are out of your API limit, or you're out of the money which you have to pay every year. So fewer tool and redefine the process. The lean concept of the companies, I love this. It's not only that some of the companies in last 2 to 3 years they suddenly became 10 million ARR or 50 million ARR. They have been very cautious because they defined the process with these three technology. We need only two more that will give us five tech pieces, and this is the process which we need to follow rather than we have to buy 50 pieces and we literally don't know what the hell is going to happen. That's an issue. Someone needs to do something. I don't know who is that person, but yeah.
One client I worked with had HubSpot, Slack, Teams, Zoom, Microsoft, obviously from Teams, Notion for some docs. Like it just went on and on and on. They had under 20 employees. I was like, what are you doing? Nobody knows where files are. Your customers can't even find the FAQs. Like you've overcomplicated this and you're not even using why did you go buy that when HubSpot does that? Or why did you go buy that when this does that? Well, so and so said they wanted it. I mean, what are you trying to solve with this? Okay. So if somebody's trying to do digital transformation, like change from one system to another or implement something brand new, what are some of the first pieces of advice you would give that C-suite person who comes to you?
We keep learning new and new things every day. One of the recent implementation we are currently, it's in progress. So the client is moving from one HubSpot to another HubSpot as a business unit. So on very initial discovery, we explicitly mentioned that it was C-level discussion. We said email activity is going to be compromised. Like the way you are saying it in your current instance is not going to look like that. Once we reach to the UAT stage, the C-level from the sales side said, I need to see the email the way it looks like. You need to do something. And that's where the problem is, that you need to think, when you're thinking about the digital transformation, you need to think about the trade-off. Because if you really want to bring what you had in past, you should not be doing the digital transformation. The reason of this whole digital transformation is that there is an upgrade required, or you have started thinking your process differently. So with that said, the trade-off is the first thing. Second, where you want to go. And it's I'm not very good at science, but I think maybe Newton's or some that law that you have to reduce the friction to go forward. So you have to take that off, and then if you want to go higher, you need to give a very cleaner view. You need to have a cleaner objective and put it on a milestone basis. In your first attempt in digital transformation, you fix the your low hanging fruit. You cannot compromise on your revenue and the pipeline. So that's your immediate thing fixed. You go to the next part. Your next part is that you want to deal with the handoff improvements, process deployments. You let people absorb and adopt. And then third part is, okay, now it's time for a very fancy ride. Let's just enable all of those functionality and make it a supersonic. So that's what my advice is going to be to the C-level who is thinking about it.
I wonder if I got this from you because I've been saying for the past like year and a half, let's just get it done and we can get fancier over time. You just said you could go on a fancy ride. So yeah, just get it done and
Yeah.
then get
Yeah.
fancier. Don't try to do that all at once. How's AI impacting all this?
So one thing about Mountainise is that we always adopt it very quickly. And I think the AI is taking some of the operational role from the whole marketing technology, RevOps, and the BizTech world. And we are seeing it at a very faster pace. A lot of people don't know how to use it yet. And then the problem is that if you don't know, your time to transformation or improvement is going to be kind of very difficult. So VC is a massive thing. So that doesn't mean that operation manager is going to be fired or some client is going to fire us because they don't need us. I think that because the basic things are being covered, basic things were I need to see a pipeline report, I need to see a sales performance report, those dashboards, we need to send a campaign, email. These are very basic things. You need to define, you need to AI define the process which you want to follow. AI is not going to, it's not the sky net which going to execute things by itself. It will bring it in front of your dashboard. This is ready. No, no, it's not going to be Skynet. I'm sure. At least until our life, at least my life, I don't see that.
Have I shown you the pictures of me and the Boston Robotics dog? I'll send it to you. I
No,
put it
no.
on LinkedIn. I was petting it and I was like, "You're so nice and cute.
Oh
Remember
my
me.
God.
Remember me when the time comes. We're friends."
That's so funny.
See, ChatGPT
Yes.
was like, "Please stop being polite and saying please and thank you. It's costing us millions. Like, just ask the question and stop saying please and thank you."
Yeah, yeah, that's funny. That's the fun part, which I mean, now think about you. It's not your actual human who cares about that part, please, or your anger, emotion. You need to just think about this is what I need, give it to me, that's it. So that's answer to your question. The AI is impacting. We are really putting something in the play. So we are, already have deployed the version 1 for as an AI agent. So at this point, it's more for Salesforce and HubSpot. So you take that, you give a prompt. There are a lot of prompts. You give a prompt, it is going to take it to like literally a full execution. Like one example is I want to send 5 emails for a upcoming event. Email needs to go on this day. You need to create a campaign. You need to create UTM. You need to find the ICP from contacts, create a list, and then make it ready. Use this template, and once it's ready, send it to me for review. So we already put it in the play, and that's where we are going because we see industry is going into this direction. And yeah, it's fun.
So would you have a non-marketer or a non-salesperson doing those prompts, or do you need to have somebody in there who understands and knows the agent tools?
So it can be done by a non-marketing person if you think that the way AI is the prompt engineering is going. But someone who doesn't know the objective, they should not come and ask those things because it's not about the asking, it's about the review. Because before it goes out to your customer, maybe 50,000 customer, and GPT put something crazy there, and now you're going to face that. That needs to be reviewed by someone who really know what they're going to do. So yeah, non-experienced people, just non-relevant people. No, we don't want that.
The Wild West. What technologies can leaders no longer ignore?
A really good integration system. Even the CRM is essential. I can't open the whole case, but we worked on a project together, and the client was not able to do the API integration. And now they are ready for the API integration with the CRM. So the integration is very essential and on a secure protocol. That's an important part because you need to keep the security in the play. CRM should be considered as separate. Even you are buying a suite from one service provider, you keep the CRM as separate and you keep the marketing as separate. But a lot of the time companies buy CRM, they buy the marketing automation, but they really forget about the customer success part. So they buy a tool where the tickets are being created, chat is being managed. So that's we discourage that. You need to have that as an ecosystem. Everything comes in a play. Your customer needs to feel so good when they talk to you after buying your service or product. If they're feeling annoyed, it's not the response is not there. No, it's yeah. So that's how we see the technology piece.
And integrating those 3 parts of it are essential to grow. Like, the marketing, the sales, and the customer success has to talk to each other.
Yes, that's why we started really advocating the RevOps part. I mean, we need to go from end to end. It's no longer that part that marketing need to talk with sales. Sales need to report to the other part. You need to think about customer success.
It's an afterthought for so many companies.
Yeah,
Like, so many companies start with a few salespeople and then tack on maybe, "Oh, we need more leads, let's go get marketing." Or their customers are piling up and the salespeople are still taking care of them after they sell them, and they think, "We should have some support people too." Not and so the
yeah,
salespeople can be freed up. So they're just bolting on these other departments and then these other tools, and that's where I see a lot of we're both passionate about RevOps and having it all connected. What are some simple wins that a company can make when they're starting and they're adding the first department. So maybe they have salespeople and they're adding marketing or they're adding customer success.
I think the ground blueprint and the framework is very, very important. Usually, the way we see is that it usually starts with the sales side. So if the sales is there and the marketing needs to come later, someone on that magic chair need to define where the sales need to have a handoff, even though it's not about how the marketing is going to be done, but where the marketing is going to help the sales. Because when you are going to hire your full department, either on the customer success or on the marketing, you cannot let them think about how they want to work in the business because you already established the roots are deep down and people can only see on the top of there. So that little bit of the definition, defining part helps a lot. And then you put small things in there. We really think that along the if the sales is the first piece, you need to put together the marketing and customer success at same time. But if the sales reports are not defined, which means not to have a numbers like a definition. One example is that we looked at a pipeline. So the company was a partner of Microsoft Dynamic, and so they're getting a leads, not a lead actually. So that the partner is sending them an actual sale, like they already sold the software. Now they are implementation partner, and in their pipeline, the first stage was MQL, then was SQL. So my question was, why would you have MQL? They said we don't know that. Why would we have the MQL? Because we thought when lead comes in from the partner, it's MQL. So that definition is very important. You need to define that. Do you want to do the MQL? Do you want to do a qualified? Does a sales qualify is one step or multi-step? So these smaller things are very important, and everyone can do that.
How many companies do you see that actually the leads are actually marked properly? Where moving a lead from MQL to SQL, if it's done manually, is important or working?
Okay. Honestly, only 15 to 20%. Still, majority of the companies, they think the system is working, but it's not there.
I've been in the seat. I've made the cold calls. If I'm not making money from it and it's not impacting my commission or helping me make sales in the future, there's no incentive for me to take like 4 extra steps to change how something's marked. If it's not happening automatically
Yeah.
or if it's not a drop down click, and
Yeah.
I take notes and leave notes every call, and still I'm not changing lead status. So, I don't think that many people actually do it. I only even when I ran sales teams, I knew they weren't doing it or they would wiggle it just to say. I just cared about once it was an actual opportunity.
Yeah.
I don't
And
know
you
if
know
that's right.
it is right, and it's literally and when we talk to the you know the head of the sales or the VP or the C-level guys, and we ask them this question, it's a simple thing, why don't you ask your team to follow that? Okay, we are going to ask them, but as long as there is a good revenue coming from this XYZ, I think it makes sense that they created a maybe opportunity on new, and after 6 months they suddenly moved it to closed one. But there are some good notes, so we can read about that, which no one reads really. So I think it's a big mess
It
to
makes
agree.
automation much harder, and it makes validating how much you're spending on marketing much harder. So
Yes.
if a salesperson's not marking that it's an opportunity until it's about to close, which some people don't put anything in their pipeline until it's about to close just so that they don't have to be bothered by their manager. If somebody's doing that or changing that it's an outbound lead and where the lead came from because they think they're going to get better credit or something, that all of those little gaming the system messes with any sort of automation you wanna do in the future or, "Hey, marketing actually helped us close 500,000. We should increase their budget." Instead, marketers getting pointed at and saying, "You're not doing a good job."
Yeah, I think it's a caveat whenever you try to run some reports, honestly, in the majority of the companies, there is no real definition how the marketing is doing something. So my thinking is either you value your marketing efforts, that this is how we have been doing, this is how it's adding the, I would say that, the cherry on the top, the way sale is working. So this is how marketing is enhancing the process. But in majority of the cases, as you mentioned, either companies are not acknowledging. They would say we have no true way to measure the marketing impact. Okay, fine. Or they would say marketing is not doing anything, sale is only closing the business, because that's what the sales supposed to do. That's not the marketing thing. So I don't know. I feel like I'm like a lame guy today. But that's what it feels like. But it's true.
If you had to build a tech stack from scratch, your dream tech stack for a SaaS company where there are salespeople, so it's not self serve, what would it be?
I don't want to mention the exact platform name. Otherwise, other partners would be thinking I'm just promoting those platforms. But I would be.
What
So
types of software? Don't name the brands.
yeah, so I think I would really go on CRM, which has at least capability of custom object. I don't want to use that on the day one, but I want to have that. It should have the capability of webhook slash integration. I don't want to use that today, but I want to keep it for the future. So the first thing I want is my CRM with at least basic automation capabilities, so I can create if else logic very quickly. I want to have an AI agent that needs to be, I want to connect it into the system right away on the product side with my CRM side. And I want to let it observe, work with me while I'm building the whole process. Just stop there. This is the simplest thing to just enable a SaaS engine and start observing. I would spend more time on observing, reading the reports, what is coming in my system before I start adding more and more. Because if there is an anomaly, it's mess up.
Gets messy fast, huh? What have I not asked you that I really should for a founder or someone looking for revamping their stack?
I think the migrations or the changing or the digital transformation sometimes they are not true definition of what organization is looking for. So in one of the meeting, we were in a kind of close call. It was on the final stages. We were doing closing the business, and that CEO asked me a question that how this is going to help in my business strategically. And I thought, oh man, this question is so important. And someone asked me this question a kind of first time, that how this is going to help in my strategic direction. Technically, that question was for the internal team. So how it is going to be asked, for those guys, you hire someone, you add in, you are, just maybe your revenue is growing and you want to build bigger muscle, you want to show that power of technology, but you need to ask that what is it going to do in the strategic side? Because if someone is bringing you up at a point where your annual bill of technology is reaching near to $500,000 and your it's going to impact your net revenue and the profit, it's not worth it. Tough question, what should be asked?
So ask internally, why are we even doing this thing?
Yeah, exactly. In a softer way. Yeah,
Oh,
that's just like the way you
yes.
describe.
How do you feel about build versus buy?
So you should always buy and you should build upon that.
Okay.
So the analogy is that, I mean, build versus buy is just like the way, I mean, I love building my I think my second house since we met. So I think it's important to build, but I have to buy the stuff from the market rather than I think about I need to grow my own timber. I need to build the whole system. But that goes to the previous question: what are you going to buy?
So with AI these days, it could be tempting for a founder or for a company who's looking at their CRM bill to say, we could probably just use ChatGPT and make our own CRM, and then this bill goes away. So don't do that.
No, no, no. So here's the funny part. So someone need to read that. Sorry to use my analogy in that someone need to read that F bill. What is inside that? I mean, what the hell is inside that? Each line item, read that. What is it's a huge amount. You wanna build it, you build it. But if your maybe and each bill comes with a lot of add-on basic stuff like that, you need to go back and ask your team what did they use. Maybe you have bought 200,000 contacts and you were expecting exponential growth. It did not happen. You bought 20 seats for maybe sales enterprise, 10 are being used, 10 are still there, and you have a business unit or you have something which you thought would be used. Marketing did not get enough time, so just take those out. Now you think about the build part. You take a AI agent, put as like a additional turbo engine, and even people are going with the whole electric car. I'm still using the old analogy, but you do that. You make it literally like the most powerful thing, but you should not recreate the wheel. Reinventing the wheel is not a good idea. It's available in the market at the best prices you can ever imagine. There are, I cannot name it, there are literally newly introduced CRM. You use them and you would not go back to the bigger giants.
Yep. Because if you build it yourself from scratch and you're trying to reinvent the wheel, somebody has to maintain that. So think about that. You have to if you want to make changes in the future, you still need a human to do it. Whereas if you're buying the software, there's a whole team. That's why it's software as a service. And they're adding on all the time to their CRM. So you're getting the benefit of their team continuing to innovate. And you don't have to think about it.
I asked a similar kind of question in one of my workshops to, I think he was in Bank of America. Yes, he was leading the innovation department and the AI department. I asked him kind of very silly question which had the same context. And after listening to my crazy ideas and stuff, he said, "Are you trying to build a solution, a SaaS, or are you trying to build an AI?" Like my product was the AI. So I was thinking more to build the AI to make my product better rather than to think about make my product better using the AI which is available. So both of these things are different. Are you a tech company who's trying to build a SaaS or a product, or are you a company who is selling the product and wants a system to make your system better? So it's a little bit tricky, but we need to understand what are we trying to do here.
Are you okay with some rapid fire questions?
Oh yes, let's do it.
Favorite underrated marketing KPI?
It's MQA, marketing qualified accounts.
Worst tech stack mistakes companies make?
Buying sports car and putting a driver who only drives Prius. Sorry, but yeah,
You got
it's a
cars on
mess.
the mind today. All right. And then finish this sentence. Growth happens when.
When your handoff processes are really well defined and everyone is able to read what is in the system without asking.
I love it. So, what I've taken away is that good tools won't fix a bad plan. What would you like if everybody could leave here today with one nugget? What would you want people to walk away with?
I think the biggest thing is that mind adoption. It's sometimes people comes back and I had been discussing with different clients at different times in the past. There is no magic wand for anything. It's all about you really adopt your mind around what you think you want versus what you really want. So that adoption is your must. We witness that a lot of the time companies discovery they were ready to spend a $500,000, and of course we love to charge when the company wants to go very extensive in the implementation, but giving them a very true picture of that adoption, they were able to go to that revenue number within their current stack, technology stack, just by tweaking, implementing the new processes, and bringing it to the surface where it should be. So yeah, that's for today.
Well, I'm sure we'll have other topics to talk about in the future. We won't name names on the software, but we'll talk processes and stuff later. Well, I appreciate you coming on. It's always good to see you and hang out and talk RevOps, man.
Yeah, and next time I need to stop thinking about cars. I think I have been thinking about cars today. That is why it's happening.
Are you watching car videos or are you thinking about buying a car? What's going on?
I'm thinking about buying a car, and today my debate with my son was about the car. So yeah,
All right.
that's happened.
Well, keep us posted if that purchase gets made. We're here for it.
Awesome.
Appreciate
It's
you.
always good to see you, and it's always fun to go on these topics with you.
Likewise. Talk to you soon.